Looking at the steering wheel as well as the cluster screen inside of the Honda Civic SI. Now, this cluster screen setup is similar to other Honda vehicles, but there are some differences between the different buttons and things like that. If you want to walk through in the infotainment, you'll find it down below, but let's dive in and I'll show you what you need to know. First thing is that the steering wheel inside of the Civic is going to be manual telescoping. So just down by your left knee, there's a release there, in, out, up and down to find that perfect position. Once you find it, click it in order to lock it back into place. There's a button along the very bottom there, and that's for your heated steering wheel, and it's heated all the way around. And there are so many different buttons in Stalks, but let's actually start off along the left-hand side. You've got the option of toggling traction control on or off. So if you're getting wheel slippage in the wintertime, you can disable traction control there. And then you can also increase or decrease the brightness of the cluster screen. And then you've got your different stalks that are available. So the stalk along the left-hand side is going to be for your lights. You're going to be in the auto mode the majority of the time, and that puts you into an auto headlamp mode. Inside of the infotainment system, if you go to your vehicle settings, lighting, auto high beam. So I definitely recommend keeping auto high beams turned on. And the reason why is in the auto mode at nighttime, if the vehicle recognizes high beams are needed, it turns them on automatically. If somebody's oncoming, it turns them off before turning them right back on again. That's with the auto mode turned on with your auto high beams enabled. But if you wanted to permanently lock your high beams out during the daytime, go to the upper mode there, or I should say the lower headlamp mode, push away in order to turn them on, pull towards you to turn them off. Easy enough, but you're going to be in the auto mode the majority of the time. Buttons along the left-hand side, so you can change between songs or stations. So if you've got preset set up, you can easily adjust it. You can also do a push and hold there if you wanted it to act as a seek button. So you can do it that way. You can adjust your volume this way if you want to. You can hit the voice command prompt, 97.7 FM.
All right, here's 97.7 FM.
So you can change song stations, things like that, all using your voice too. And then you've also got a little scroll wheel, which is going to let you change between a few different things, which I'll show you as we move into the cluster screen there. The stick along the right-hand side is going to be for your wipers. So if you go one up, that's just going to be a quick wipe. If you drop down a level, that goes into the intermittent mode. So you could then use the rocker there to see how fast or slow it's hitting the windshield, and then go into one of the hyper fast modes. And then you're just going to pull towards you in order to get the wiper fluid going. You can toggle the cruise control system on this way. You can see that the system is currently enabled there. And then all you do is just set your speed by hitting down. You can increase or decrease 1 kilometer, 1 mile per hour at a time, push and hold up or push and hold down in order to increase, decrease at larger increments. You can hit the brake to cancel your speed. You can hit the cancel button to cancel your speed and then push up in order to resume your previously set speed. There are two different types of cruise inside of the Civic SI though. There's either adaptive or there's traditional. So if you take the gap adjustment button here, if you push and hold it, that changes you into a traditional cruise, so your old school cruise. So you set it at 80. If the car in front of you slows down, yours will not brake. So you just have to be paying more attention. But if you take that same button, you push and hold it again, adaptive cruise is there. And then that's where this gap adjustment button comes into play with 4 unique levels. I'm personally okay on level 1 the majority of the time, but you might want to be on 2, 3, or 4. And that's how close or far you are away from the vehicle that's in front of you. So let's say if you set it at 80, the car in front of you slows down, yours will automatically slow down. They change lanes, you change lanes, it's going to pick you back up to your previously set speed. But here's the thing. The Civic Si is a manual transmission. So as the vehicle has you slowing down, you just have to actively be paying attention because you might have to downshift a few times or upshift, just depending on what's currently going on with your speed. Is it slowing you down, speeding you up, etc.? So you just have to be paying a little bit more attention. But if you want a live demonstration of using the cruise control system and see it in person, how it's used, you'll find a walkthrough down in the description. But you've also got this button here, and this one is a lane keeping system. Like a lane follow assist, I would say, is a better explanation. So the way that this one works is as long as the vehicle recognizes the lane markings, it keeps you perfectly balanced in your lane. It's a brilliant system. Like the car is not full self-driving, but with the adaptive cruise control system and the lane following system turned on, it gets very close. But here's the thing, after about 10 seconds or so, if your hands aren't on the steering wheel, you get a little message in the cluster telling you that steering is required. And then you've got your little scroll wheel along both the left and the right side. So let's actually start off. Let's go the left-hand side first. So as you scroll up or down there, you can move between all of your available sources. So Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, or you can customize it. So let's say if you wanted to hide or show certain things, maybe you never use AM, you're not going to use USB or Android Auto, Alexa, etc. So now if we were to go back a level, we're now only moving up and down between those sources that we've selected. You can customize the display and you can even show or hide different things. Do you want to show your audio, stopwatch, or nothing? So we can show a little stopwatch there. Lap timers, etc. Where the SI, you got to be able to do some lap times if you really wanted to. And then back down from there in order to customize the display again. Display content, you can have nothing showing up whatsoever. So it's just a naked screen there. So more of like a traditional old school. Or move back in order to audio and clock. Let's go back to audio and clock again. Turn that back on. One along the right-hand side here, this one is going to be for that right part of the display. So you can show, let's go to the top. So you've got your trip counter. You can push the button in the middle there in order to be able to go between trip A versus trip B. If you push and hold it, that's going to let you manually reset. You've got your average speed, same idea, push and hold in order to be able to reset it if you'd like to for A versus B. Back down, you've got your navigation. If you had an active route going, navigate to Tim Hortons.
There's a Tim Hortons 0.3 kilometers away.
So as we've got an active route going, you can see your turn-by-turn directions there. It's not full mapping cluster, but I mean still, it's pretty neat. And then it's going to default just to a basic compass view if you don't have an active route going, strictly for factory navigation. There's your driver attention warning. So this is currently disabled, but if it was enabled, you start to veer over too many times without signaling, nodding off, etc. Eventually that counter is going to go up. It's going to ding at you to tell you that you probably take a break. You've got some different gauges here. See what kind of power you're currently using. You've got the G meter there too. If people are sitting down, it's who's got their seatbelt plugged in. Oil life is there, all of your different safety systems. So if you wanted to turn off your lane keeping system, your blind spot system, or your brake controls, the parking sensors, or your collision systems, you can disable any of these different settings. I personally recommend keeping them on. The only time I'd say disable them, if you're going on a track. Otherwise, keep them enabled. From there, you can have no content. So in just a second there. There we go. You can see there that you've got more of that traditional look. So you can have the traditional just empty on both sides if you want to, or push and hold again in order to be able to change between miles or kilometers. You can change it through the infotainment system if you want to, but it's kind of neat that you've got that option. Then you can customize the display, so even changing out the gauge display. So we've got our classic round. You can go to more of a bar look. Round minimalist, which kind of gets rid of a few different things. And then you've got your bar minimal there too. So I'm personally not a big fan of the bar. I normally keep it on the round, but matter of preference there, just from a basic style perspective. And then, do you want to hide or show certain things? So if you're never going to use your range info, your speed and time, if you don't care about your turbo gauges, your throttle, things like that, you'd have the flexibility of disabling any one that's not gray. So grayed out ones have to stay there, but you could adjust out. So as you move up and down, it's which of those options are showing as you go. And down the middle here, you've got this little selector to move between different drive modes. So there are 3 modes. So there's an individual, there's sport mode, and then normal. So normal is just like your day-to-day driving. Sport is gonna do a few things. Hold on, watch this. We'll go to individual and then customize. So you can adjust out, how does your engine sound? What's your steering like? So do you want things kind of normal or a little bit tighter? You can adjust out the engine sound there too. So normal versus sport. And then you can also change up the cluster display. So in the sport mode, it's gonna be red. So it changes it up a little bit, but you can adjust that out. For your individual mode if you want. There's the auto start stop system. So that's the one where if you come down to a complete stop, the engine might turn off. There's your electronic parking brake. So all you do is pull up to turn it on, just on the brake pedal, push down in order to turn it off. And then there's also your brake hold. With the brake hold setting, if you've come down to a complete stop, you take your foot off the brake and the clutch pedal. As long as you're in neutral, it's going to hold you in place. If you are still in gear with that brake hold setting on, you just make sure you've got the clutch in. But if you are stopped, you just throw yourself into neutral there, take your foot off the brake, Well, obviously without the parking brake on, the car just wouldn't move. So it's pretty good from a basic safety perspective. It is kind of useful, especially if you're learning how to drive the manual transmission, because if you're going uphill, having the brake hold on can be a little bit easier to go. But the shifter in the hand feels fantastic. Moving over into reverse gets you your backup camera, which I would like to see that's slightly different. Like the quality there, I definitely think could be improved on. But I know that was a lot of information. That's everything you need to know about the steering wheel, as well as the cluster screen inside of the Honda Civic SI.